Hello, this is Tina Rappe. Thanks for joining me in my stamping studio. Here's the card we're making today, which is quite festive if you ask me. It uses the stamp set Birthday Fiesta, and I think when you first look at this stamp set, the things that you notice are the little llama and the cactus and the Mexican feel to things. I mean, really, fiesta like there's no mañana. Can't get more Mexican or Hispanic than that. Anyway, this is the card that we're making using some of the elements from the stamp set, the embossing folder that coordinates with it, and even the framelits that coordinate with it. So let me show you how to make this. We're starting out with a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this is the thick Whisper White. We're using this for the base. If you go to my blog, stampinstudio.com, you are going to find the dimensions for all of the cardstock and the item numbers for all of the products in it. Then I'm using a piece of Melon Mambo, and this is going to be the next layer on the card. So we'll get that on here. And then another piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this we're going to run through the embossing folder. And as I said, this coordinates with the set. This embossing folder is called Festive. And we are putting this in this way. Get my big shot over here. And with this, I'm going to use the Big Shot platform. Because we're using an embossing folder, we don't need the thin die adapter for this. But we do need an acrylic plate, the embossing folder with the cardstock in there, and then the other acrylic plate. And we'll run that through. Okay, let me get this out of the way. And then we've got the pretty texture on here. This then we're going to go ahead and mount onto the cardstock. Now whenever I'm putting an embossed piece on top of a cardstock, I don't want to put adhesive on the back here because I'm going to smush the image. So in a situation like this then, I just want to go ahead, that snail is empty. I'm going to go ahead and use my fast views. So I'm going to go ahead and put the adhesive right on the layer that I'm going to attach it to. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to go ahead and do the stamping and the other cutting parts that we need to do. So with a piece of Melon Mambo, grab my Big Shot here again. This time we are going to use the thin die adapter because we're using a framelit. So it will be the platform, the thin die adapter, an acrylic sheet, then our cardstock. And then I'm going to use a piece of the Melon Mambo and a long thin strip of the Whisper White. So then for this, I am using the layering ovals, and I am using, I believe, yes, it is the largest scallop oval. We'll lay that on here. And then I'm also going to use the Fiesta Time framelits, and we're using this piece. And I'm just going to go ahead and lay that across there. Okay, I'm going to cut both of these out at the same time and put my acrylic plate on top. So then we have the scallop banner and then the scallop oval here. And I had already previously cut out a Whisper White oval that is just a bit smaller here. Okay. So first we're going to do the words, and I'm going to use Wishing You the Happiest of Birthdays, and then it's got these two little scallop things on here. So we're going to go ahead and use that. And what I have done is I have mounted those two little scallops on here, and I'm going to stamp that down first. And with that, I'm using some Pear Pizzazz, and I don't want this to be super bright, so I'm actually going to stamp it off here once and then stamp it on here again. That will give a lighter image of the pear pizzazz. So we have that. And then for the words, if you look at my sample, I've got wishing you is in the yellow, and then I've got the orange, and then I've got the melon mambo. And to do that, it's one stamp set. So I'm actually going to use the Stampin' Write markers and color them in with the brush end here. On these markers, there's a fine tip writing end, and then there's this brush tip. And if you lay it sideways on the stamp, it's really easy to add color and not bend down the point of your marker. And I'm going to turn this way to get this side. And then the melon mambo. Okay. And then you want to huff it. And that is by kind of breathing on it. Open your mouth and breathe. Just huff on it. Wishing you the happiest of birthdays. And I'm going to set that aside. Now on this little banner, if you'll notice here, I've got it stamped in a bunch of different colors. So I'm going to start out with the lightest of the colors, and that would be the Daffodil Delight. Now this looks pink because anytime you use anything that's red or purple or melon mambo, it stains that, but it doesn't affect anything at all. Just no matter how much you clean it, that color does not come off of the stamp. All right, so we have the yellow one, and then I'm going to go ahead to the pumpkin pie. I've cleaned this already. Let me clean that. And then we'll go to the pear pizzazz. And then the melon mambo. So the die actually cuts more little scallops than what I need, but that's not a problem. I'm going to take my paper snips and just trim off that extra length here. Okay. The next thing we're going to do are these tiny little elements right here. And I'm just using a scrap of Whisper White cardstock, and we'll go back to the pumpkin pie. And then with the stamp set, it's going to be this image and this image that we're stamping. And we're doing both of those. Oh, I've got ink on my fingers. Well, let's flip that over. We're going to stamp those by stamping off to get a lighter image. I don't want it that dark, so we'll stamp off and then on here. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my Big Shot real quick and cut those out. So back in a second. I never thought, I should have shown you. These little flowers, there are framelits that coordinate with that. And that is in the Fiesta Time framelits. So I just took it to the Big Shot and cut those out. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and assemble now. So we've got this and we've got this. So I want to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back side of this oval. All right, so this is going to go on here. And then I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals just to add a little more depth to it. Oops, get it the right way, that'll help. Okay, that's going on here. And then the little banner, I'm going to go ahead and put a dimensional on the back of each of these as well. Pop this up. So even though this card is made with a set that is all about Fiesta, and there's designer paper that goes with it, there's so many different ways you can use this, and I think this card would be perfect for anybody. Doesn't have to be related to anything else. Okay, so we've got that on there, and then we're going to take these two little elements here, and I'm going to take a part of a dimensional here just because of the size of those tiny little images. I don't need a whole one on there. So I'll pop that, and this is going to go right over the top of this flower. And then the same thing here with, oops. There we go. Isn't it adorable? And I think it'd be perfect for anybody at any age. So I'd love for you to give it a try. I hope you enjoyed your visit today, and I'd love to have you come back another time. Thanks, and happy stamping.